improve the quality of the relationships you have. Proven time and time again that humans are social beings, but equally important is to spend time with friends in their company. And as we evolve as a society, these human relationships are what we take, and that dramatically improves the quality of all of our lives.
Having a good people to interact with on a daily basis is like having your probiotics, like you multivitamin. You need to have a good selection of friends, you need to interact with them, and they are the best antidepressants you can have is a good quality of friends with whom you can interact on anything you want.
Welcome viewers to yet another episode of B Cubed, Breaking Boundaries with Sabir Bhatia. And to this show on proactive management on health, I warmly welcome Dr. Arvind Kakkar. Dr. Kakkar, what a pleasure to have you here with us. So, viewers, Dr. Kakkar comes from a very eminent family of doctors. His father, Padma Shri Dr. S.K. Kakkar. Dr. Kakkar, to begin with a question to you. There has been a paradigm shift in the way people look at management of health, proactive management of health rather, and a whole lot of concepts, attitude towards medicine, healthcare has undergone a change. What do you have to say?
Now, what I anticipate here is that the preventive healthcare will become much more important than the curative healthcare. Doctors will become masters of preventing the disease. We'll be proactive in stopping the occurrence of disease rather than what we're doing now, is treating when a patient comes with a problem. We will become kind of preventive masters at not letting the problem occur in the first place. That is a major shift in thinking in medicine.
Right. And what about actually the real, management of health? Sabir, you have been very avidly interested in management of health, and to begin with your own health, and you've done a great job. So what are your comments on this?
Now, first of all, thank you for your very kind words. But I actually very much agree with Dr. Kakkar as well. Medicine 3.0, and from all of the literature that I have been reading, is about how not to get your body in a state of disease. And it's very preventable. There are just few things that one needs to do to prevent oneself from falling into the whole disease trap, if you will. And I think the number one indicator I read somewhere of disease is the amount of visceral fat you have. So all of our efforts have to be to try to reduce the visceral fat in our body. And you can do that through a number of ways. Obviously, the obvious one is exercise. Exercise never killed you. There is no such thing as too much of exercise. So if you exercise, keep your body healthy, you're supplying blood to every organ of your body, every cell of your body, and it obviously lives in a more healthy state. Then there are other things such as diet. Just make sure you don't overeat. We're a machine like a car or like anything else. We have to just ingest only that much food as is necessary. And one simple rule of thumb that I follow is any meal that I eat, I try to eat till I'm only 90% full, not 100%, because it takes a while for the satiety signals to reach the brain. The third and an interesting thing that I have discovered is the benefits of fasting. All of us are very familiar with intermittent fasting, which is keep your eating window to only 8 hours and fast for 16 hours. But recently I've read a book that espouses the benefits of long-term fasting. And this is like multiple days, of course, under medical supervision, 3 days or 4 days or 5 days of fasting. And apparently, that puts the body in a state of autophagy where some of the cells of our body they cleanse themselves and eat all of the intercellular junk and bring them to a healthy state. And I've so far done 2 cycles of fasting, of 5-day fasting, and I'm waiting to measure my blood and to see what kind of positive effect that has had on my health.
You know, Sabir, autophagy is something extremely fascinating. When the body is going into autophagy, what it's actually doing is that eating its own cells. And here what it's doing, it's eating the bad cells, the good cells, and the not so good cells also. So in fact, if you can come into a stage of autophagy on a regular basis, we are trying to clean the body, rinse the body, and get a new body. It's extremely beneficial for the body, autophagy.
Yeah, amazing.
And that's one way. I mean, theoretically, if we were like programmed to be autophages, we could live on forever. That is the underlying concept of autophagy in its reality is. We are very far from there, but to go there, it's extremely exciting times, and the future lies in autophagy and in long-term fasting. I totally agree with Sabir. That's the cutting edge of future medicine, is the body healing itself.
Yes.
Wonderful. So, what about stress management, doctor? What is this whole mantra about stress management? How can you manage your stress?
I think this has a lot of inputs. I mean, either we go into the traditional Indian inputs of yoga, doing the meditations, which are now globally accepted. I mean, meditation is a form of stress busting agent, which is no side effects, no toxicity, no dependence. So one would probably go into long-term meditation cycles, use apps which are routinely available on all phones. You have games that kind of help you becoming a better meditator. And to de-stress yourself, you have games, you have apps, and you have music. So 3 major things to kind of de-stress yourself. Stress, in my view, is one of the biggest killers of both the quality and the quantity of human life.
I have 3 inputs to reduce human stress. One is obviously exercise, because when you're exercising, you're pumping blood, you automatically just de-stress your body. You stress it in different ways, but you remove the mental stress. If you're playing a game of tennis, or you're skiing downhill, or you're bicycling, you reduce your normal stress levels. The second is sleep. Sleep is very important. Minimum of 7 to 8 hours of sleep to reduce the stress levels. And third is improve the quality of the relationships you have with fellow human beings. Proven time and time again that humans are social beings. In my case, I obviously spend more time with my kids, playing with them, but equally important is to spend time with friends in their company. And as we evolve as a society, these human relationships are what we take, and that dramatically improves the quality of all of our lives. So those are my 3 humble inputs into reducing the stress levels that we are naturally subjected to living in modern societies.
Doctor,
Sabir, what I would like to really emphasize the last point. Having a good people to interact with on a daily basis is like having your probiotics, like your multivitamins. Friends are your multivitamin, right? Yes. You need to have a good selection of friends. You need to interact with them, and they are the best antidepressants you can have. Is a good quality of friends with whom you can interact on anything you want to. Pick up a phone call, talk. Yeah. Do not take things in your stomach. When the eyes do not weep, the stomach weeps, and you get ulcers. You've got to have good friends to support you in life.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more.
How well put, that the best supplements is in fact friends. You said relationships. And converse is also true, that if you have a lot of people bothering you, if you have a lot of negativity in life, that could be toxic. So, talking about toxic, there are certain toxins that we consume that in the society are consumed in a very widespread manner. alcohol and smoking. What is your take?
Yeah, ultra processed food is the toxin that we can really erase from our system. Every time a child goes to a fast food place, he or she is exposed to ultra processed foods. Each ultra processed food ultimately breaks down into multiple carcinogens which can cause cancer and totally wipe off the health of the child. To invest in our future, we have to invest in proper nutrition, proper diet, and proper eating. There's no substitute to these three being revolved. We have to have a proper eating habit, proper vegetables to eat, proper nutrients to get, proper ways to get them, and then we have to build on that. They are the basic building blocks of a good health, is good nutrition and staying away from ultra processed and processed foods.
A simple rule of thumb is don't eat anything that comes in a bag.
Exactly.
Because it's processed. You know, it has got additives, it's got preservatives, it's got things that ultimately, as the doctor said, you know, bake down into carcinogens in your body. Now, about answering your other two questions, it's universally known smoking kills you. Smoking is absolutely bad. Governments have banned it. You can't smoke on planes, you can't smoke in public places. So that is now the other part of alcohol. Previously, it used to be conventional wisdom that it's okay to have a glass of wine or a glass of some beverage, alcoholic beverage, every night. But the latest research now tells you that even one drink a day is bad. There is no amount of alcohol that can help your body.
Yes, exactly.
It's all bad. All of alcohol is bad. I mean, I know it's not music to your ears, but it's the truth. And, you know, so the way I have adapted to this new kind of way of thinking is, you know, just limit it to social drinking once every couple of weeks, just a little bit, and no more.
So obviously there is a trade-off between a certain amount of happiness people get out of doing a certain kind of things which are not good for their health. So there is a trade-off there, is there not?
There is a trade-off, but once again, you have to define for yourself what is happiness. I mean, if drinking a glass of wine every day makes you happy, be it. I mean, that's fine. Then it's a question of making you happy, reducing your stress level. Maybe you've come after a hard day's work and you just need to de-stress yourself. That's okay. Not that I'm a doctor, but I'm just saying the research is now showing that no amount of alcohol medically is good for your body. You know, they are now recommending absolutely none, abstinence, which is very hard for us to do, especially in societies like ours, where we celebrate all occasions with a drink or two. So I think the takeaway from that is limit your alcohol consumption if you possibly can.
Okay. Now to move away from lifestyle to technology, the application of technology to proactive health management. Dr. Kakkar, you know, there is something called, you know, there are a lot of new concepts that have come in, using AI for diagnostics, using AI for various other purposes, then IoT powered medical centers and hospitals, and of course wearables, telemedicine. What's your take on all this?
Well, they have now become an integral part of our life. To live healthy is what all doctors want their patients to be. All this is a part of that artificial intelligence experience towards health. Each and every aspect of what you have said will now become an accepted part of healthcare. Let me take you back. Today, when life starts in a child, previously we used to throw away the cord blood. Now the cord blood has become the most integral part of blood banking in our country. We need to bank the cord blood because that is the precursor on which the whole body is built. So if my cord blood, or my child's cord blood is banked, that means I am protected against all kind of mitotic diseases, all kind of nerve disorders and all kinds of aging, because those cells can be injected into me to take care of various deficiencies or anomalies that my body might have. That is where the future of medicine is going to be able to procreate and able to take away from the body all kinds of toxins to be able to regenerate the body at a level at which you want them. I totally agree with Sabir. Now, the conventional medical advice is there's no question of moderate alcohol, there is no alcohol. No doctor is going to say take alcohol in moderation now. Latest studies globally have shown that alcohol is bad and it's not even open for discussion among medical fraternity now. Alcohol is no. Smoking and alcohol are both equally bad, and there's no question of moderate smoking or no question of moderate alcohol. It's an absolute no.
Talking about wearables, wearables have shaped our life. Look at this.
Yeah.
You know, the Apple Watch, your watch, we are
Look at my
all
ring.
constantly, that's the Aura ring, constantly measuring every aspect of our medical system. Because once again, I think humans are saying that we are like a machine, like no different from a scooter or a motorcycle or a car. And we need to constantly be measuring what is going on in order to have a healthy outcome. So we measure the number of steps we take, we measure, how much bicycling we do, we measure how much of exercise we do. Everything there is a measure. So it's like an objective that you have to hit every day. 10,000 steps, reduction in heart rate, and the blood is such a phenomenal indicator of how healthy or unhealthy we actually are from the inside.
Dr. Kakkar, what is the impact of technology on blood diagnostics?
No, artificial intelligence has come into pathological diagnosis in a very big way. Now we have come down to the chromosomal level for most of our diagnosis. Previously, when I had a problem, I used to go and give my blood for blood sugar, thyroids, do some antibodies, do some basic blood levels. Now when I walk into a pathologist, he or she would probably sample my oral mucosa, send it to a chromosomal lab, and they will go down to the chromosomal level and see what I'm predisposed to. How's my chromosomes going to behave in the next 10 years? What are the diseases that I might have? And what diseases and how to prevent those diseases. So that is actually the future of treatment, is going down to treat the chromosomal levels. And further to that, treatment will come in something called CRISP and TRISP, which are basically chromosomal variations in the child, which are going to be extremely ethically challenging and also gray areas of medical care. I mean, should we go there or shouldn't we go there? That is where medicine is going to go on from here.
Retrospective correction.
Retrospective correction, which is kind of, in the next 10 years as a doctor, I will have the wherewithal to actually slow down your aging substantially if you let me interfere with your chromosomes.
Fascinating, doctor. This is just fascinating. Of course, I'm trying to do it the natural way of slowing down aging.
Which is actually much better than
autophagy. This is, of course, the frontier of science, which is, going down and tinkering at the DNA level, chromosomal level, to alter human outcome, health outcomes of each of us.
So eventually, the idea is longevity, and how long and how healthy one can live. So, reading fiction some time ago, one read of human beings who would live up to 150 to 200 years, and death would be an option. So
death would be an option.
I mean, I'm talking about purely fiction.
Yeah, but now that fiction has become a reality.
Yes,
Death will be an option.
But there's something anti-romantic about not letting nature take its course, about meddling too much with Mother Nature, as nature has deemed things to happen.
Now, I would like to add, of course, this is the cutting edge of science and frontier of science, but I watched a documentary called The Blue Zones, which is, they studied 4 populations around the globe, which naturally people live to their 90s and 100s and 110 years of age as well. One in Italy, in Okinawa, Japan, Loma Linda in California, and one other place in Greece. And they just watch the lifestyles of these people. And actually, there is a natural way of prolonging human life and extending your health span. And that is by engaging with nature, living satisfying lives, having a purpose in life. Ikigai is what they call it in Okinawa, in Japanese. And simple things like, watching your diet, mostly vegetarian diet, what is known as the Mediterranean diet, eating only till you're about 70, 80, 90% full, engaging in exercise all the time, sitting up and down, sitting on the floor. These are simple things that our ancestors were forced to practice, and apparently getting rid of your sofa is a very good thing. If you all sit down on the floor and eat, you can extend your human life. I mean, these are simple things, techniques you can use to just make your body behave like nature intended it to. And that is the corollary to the other point of view, the non-scientific point of view of extending human life.
And get as close to nature as possible. I mean, there's no better words than what Sabir said. Get back to your roots, and that's when you will improve your health, improve your future, improve your quality of life and the quantity of life. We have to get back to the roots. Every article that gives us benefits of, like an air conditioner, has a lot of harms. All the newer generation of electronics have this harmful side effects. We need to touch base with nature, as Sabir has said, but that is where we ultimately get our salvation from, is nature.
Salvation and nature. Two beautiful words to bring this episode to an end with. That salvation will come when you come close to nature and understand what has been deemed by nature to be yours. Thank you, viewers, for your time and attention, and thank you, gentlemen, for being here. You're most welcome to pose your questions, ask them. Please download Showreel from App Store or Play Store. Put your questions there, and the gentleman will be more than happy to answer the questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.